Hello, everybody. I am Goldilocks. We are talking about anything. Okay? This is the first time I've done this. This debate is open to anyone to talk about anything they think might be worth talking about. Anyone that thinks anything in particular might be worth talking about. This debate is completely open. Whatever you want to talk about, I'm up for it. And we will debate. To be clear, debate isn't about arguing, right? Debate is about finding the truth, okay? So while I think that a lot of these discussions will still end up being about politics because that is what I have sort of geared myself toward, and I'm still totally open for it. If you want to come up here and talk about Trump, still totally open for it. Honestly, still totally open. But if you want to talk about literally anything at all, just request, and we will hack it. We will see what we got. Your truth, says Seth. Seth says your truth. I don't know what you're asking. You got to word that question better. You got to word that question better. What is truth? What is truth but what we see it as through the lens through which we're viewing the world? Truth isn't really anything, is it? Right? That's why we debate. Let's find the truth in literally anything. Just request. If you do want to talk about anything in particular and you cannot hit the little multi-guest request button down there, the little blue and purple one, blue and pink, however you want to see it, hit that if you can. If you can't, send a message in the chat just saying you want to talk about something, and I will definitely accept you. The politics thing just doesn't work the same since the election, so we're going to find some other things that work to talk about. Hot button issues, stupid things, almost useless topics. If you are interested in something, request. And we'll see how it goes. Literally any topic. Come on, people. Otherwise, I'm going to change the prompt. I will change the prompt for the sake of views. I will go inflammatory again. If that's what you want. If that's what the people want. Thank you so much for joining my team. Thank you so much. Follow me if you haven't. Whether you agree or disagree on anything, it's good to do. We can either talk about it or you can watch me talk about it. Hey, I have a guest. What do you know? Ginger, how are you doing?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Pretty good. How old are you?
29.
And what do you want to talk about?
I would love to talk about the fact that water is, in fact, not wet.
Water isn't wet. Because I assume your angle is that the definition of wetness is being covered in water.
That and the fact that if I go pour some water on a body of water, that, in fact, does not make that water wetter.
Oh, that's fair.
Water has the ability to make things wet, but in and of itself cannot be wet.
That's fair. So debate is all about finding the truth, right? It's not about argument. And I would generally agree, but also, if wetness is being covered in water, is not all water covered in water?
Well, wetness isn't just being covered in water, though. There are other chemical elements that can make you wet. Because they have the ability to make things wet, because then and of themselves contain water. But water has the innate ability to make things wet. But to say water is wet is basically saying that it is what it makes things. It is its own attributes, or it is its own traits, when in fact it is not. It has the ability to do these things, but that's like, say
I don't know, but isn't it itself what it makes things? Is not the fact that wetness is being closer to being water saying that water is itself wet?
No, so, like, take fire, for example, right?
Yeah.
Fire has the ability to burn things.
Well, if you're on fire, you are fire.
Are you fire, or are you being burned by fire? Because if a human's on fire, he is not then fire.
The longer you remain on fire, the more fire you are.
You could say that you are being burned by the fire, and that fire is attached to you, but you cannot just say, I know now I'm fire.
Oh, Jade says my goal gift is not an option. What is my goal gift right now? I actually
I
don't
didn't even check your goal gift.
Yeah, I actually don't know what my goal gift is right now.
I always forget to set that when I go live.
I'll check that out later. I didn't have time to check anything this time. To be honest, fire is only made up of that which fuels it. The fire that you see is just the release of the atoms of the fuel that makes it up.
I can agree with you on that.
So obviously, that just defeats that as an argument against water being wet, right? That doesn't mean that water being on you or that wetness, that water is wet. That doesn't necessarily mean that water is wet.
It doesn't still compute that water is, because water in and of itself is not wet.
Right. So, do you think
we see eye to eye on this point?
Do you think that humans are wet regardless of the exterior water content?
Would you say so? You're saying like internally?
Yeah, I mean, since we're made up of 75, 80% water.
Yeah, we have water inside of us for sure, and so by that measure, we are subject to what water does, and water main ability is to make things wet. So yeah, I would concede in that point and agree that yeah, humans are definitely wet, but the water inside of us is not wet. We're only wet because that's what water does, and that's the water inside of us.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I think we can agree on this one. All humans are wet, but water isn't.
Correct.
Fantastic.
All humans internally are wet. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, are there any other takes you want to present?
No, man. Honestly, that's like my favorite one. Okay. I mean, this is gonna expose my nerdiness because on my lives I do a bunch of the hero versus heroes.
Oh yeah.
So two big ones that have seemed to really cause debate with some guys that normally frequent my lives is Scarlet Witch versus Raven from Teen Titans. Scarlet Witch takes the dub. And then the Batman versus Iron Man debate. Iron Man takes the dub.
I think Iron Man versus Batman?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch takes it over Raven all day. I agree with that 100%. Raven's biggest move is summoning her dad. So, like, I don't know.
Now, see, I'll even give in to that point because, there are some people that have agreed with the Scarlet Witch thing, but Raven recently, in a comic that came out not too long ago, she's able to beat her dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
she's able to beat Trigon himself.
See, I am not honestly, up on the comments.
I kind of always kind of foresaw that coming.
Yeah. Hell yeah. As far as the Iron Man Batman debate, I don't know. If they existed in the same universe, I feel like Iron Man would push Batman to do a little bit more. But yeah, Iron Man as it stands, just mano-y-mano. Yeah, I totally agree. Iron Man takes it all day. He's got like nuclear technology just all over. Batman is using like bat knives.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, like Batman has like solid tech, and the fact that he does in fact have a contingency plan for every member of the Justice League does come into some question.
True.
Intellectually, I think you could say that Batman is a better tactical strategist. But just pure smarts down the board, Iron Man takes the dub on that aspect.
Hell yeah.
And then, you know, people will often make the argument, well, you know, Batman's Doomsday armor or his Mobius armor, where he literally tries to turn himself into a god. Well, if people read into it, Iron Man has a cosmic Iron Man armor that was demonstrated and used. Basically, he decided that I'm going to become a god myself. And when he did that, he basically ran through the entire Marvel universe. I mean, like dismantling it, running straight through it, just absolutely obliterating anybody and everybody all the way up until the Tribunal, where he was basically tearing holes into time and space.
Hell yeah.
And the only person that stopped him was an older version in the timeline of himself.
Interesting.
So, you know, you're talking about some of the greatest Marvel heroes ever that tried to stop him, and they couldn't. And the only way that he was stopped was basically talking himself down. So,
well, damn.
I just think it's a little ridiculous when people say, "Oh yeah, no, Batman takes him out every day," because everybody's thinking, "Well, Batman's a better fighter than he is." Of course he is, but even with that, my argument to that is what we witnessed in the MCU. We saw Iron Man square up against one of the best pound-for-pound brawlers there is, which is Captain America.
I mean, like, legitimately...
He told his suit basically just analyze his fight pattern.
Yeah, I mean, like, legitimately...
Did that, and he was like, all right, cool, now we can counter.
Bruce Wayne legitimately, like, refuses to use projectiles, like, of any kind, right? I mean, he'll throw, like... He refuses to use, how do I say this? Because he'll, like, throw weapons. He uses throwing weapons. But he won't use anything that... How do I say this? He won't shoot anybody.
No, I mean, yeah, he's non-lethal. Now, I mean, an argument can be made for which version of Batman that you're talking about, because there is the laughing Batman, or the Batman who laughs.
Yeah.
Who I haven't done a whole lot of reading into it, but apparently the gist of it is this is a Batman that has no problem doing the lethal unalivings.
Interesting. That could change the game a little bit.
But it's definitely interesting. Those are just the two hot takes I have because I'm a bit of a nerd. So
interesting. Yeah, hell yeah. Well, thank you. We didn't disagree. We did not disagree on these at all.
We did not. No, I was hoping we would disagree on one at least.
No, yeah, water itself isn't wet. I mean, that's just a. I feel like that's logically obvious. I feel like anybody pretending that it is lying.
I mean, I just feel like, you know, anybody that thinks it is hasn't looked at it past the surface level.
Right.
I mean,
past the surface of the water.
Yeah, you associate water with wetness, but like, essentially, one of the best descriptions of it, to say something is wet means that it can be dried.
Right, right.
You know, you're not... Anyway, but no, man, this is fun. I'm going to give you a follow, man. I appreciate you having me up.
Well, hell yeah. Thank you so much for coming up. Thank you for sticking around, hopefully, and I'll see you later.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Have a good one.
You too. All right, y'all. We don't have many viewers. I know. This is new, okay? This is new. If you feel strongly about literally anything, I love this. Zeke Beasley, too. No way your dog's still sick. It's been months. What's wrong? What's wrong is that it was cancer, dude. It was cancer. Like, you know, the thing that... How embarrassing for you. We had to cut off his leg, okay? Like, I don't know if I can even say that for the, for the, you know, the TikTok guidelines. I don't know how much of that I can say. We had to amputate my dog's leg, and now he needs chemo, just in case, right? Just in case. So, anyway, yes. Yes. I did not say it was my son. I said my boy. And people got confused thinking it was my human child. But yes, my dog is my son. I'm not planning on having a human child. So my dog is my son. LMFAO, right. Yeah, I said my boy needs an amputation and it's $5,000. That's what I was saying. And that happened. We did that. That's done. Now there's chemo. I will invite you up, though. Sure. If you want to talk about it. Vintage Viper. Your display name is Meme Raven, and your actual username is Vintage Viper 96. I assume 96 is your birth year. Also, Zeke, I will invite you, too. Ginger and I had a good conversation. The prompts were water isn't wet, which is just like, that's obviously true. Wasn't trying to be mean. How many doses does he need? 4 to 6. 4 to 6 at about $1,000 each. So another $5,000. Yeah. Legitimately also, and I know this is literally like 5 viewers right now, but TikTok was so helpful. In 2 weeks, I made 10% of the actual amputation cost. Like, 10% off of that. Like, legitimately, thank you all so much. Legitimately, thank you all so much. I don't know how that happened. Thank God that there was an election coming up, because that really gave me a lot of traffic and a lot of dedicated viewers. And I love you all so much. But literally, if anybody has anything to talk about, come into the box. I don't expect this to work this time. Again, totally new. Yeah, totally new. Never done this before. Always been political. If this just literally totally tanks, we'll go back to political next time. I just wanted to try something different. So, what are some hot takes that I have? Who's the best actor of all time? Would that be a hot take? My hot take is American cars are plastic junk. German and Japanese cars are better. Yeah, you're coming up. You're coming up for sure. I love that. Come on. Yeah, there you are. Ryan, how's it going?
Hey, going good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. How old are you?
38.
And you think we shouldn't buy American cars?
I think that if you buy an American car, you're just buying overpriced junk, in my opinion. Maybe I'm just grumpy.
Yeah, give me some evidence for that.
Sure. So anything made by General Motors with a 3.6 liter V6 blows up after 150,000 to 120,000 miles. Mopar, anything like Stellantis, they can't even sell them. They just sit on the lot forever because they're garbage. Minus the Hellcat, that's popular, but I guess whatever. I mean,
you got to have that flagship model, right?
Yeah. Ford, minus the F-150, they're not moving cars either. They're just all like plasticky and they don't ride well, and they're just, like, it's all about profit, and they're just junk cars now. That's my hot take.
Fair. So do you think fandoms like Ford versus Chevy are useless and silly?
No, I'm a car guy, so I think I'm cool with that. It's just, there's this whole concept in, like, car culture, if that's a thing, where, like, you respect all rides. And, like, I get kind of tired of that because there's certain vehicles that are just garbage.
They just don't make sense, right?
No. But you got to keep your mouth shut. It's almost like politics. I mean, if you get into some of these subreddits or in these discussions with people, man, they're like gonna drive to your house and fight you over you saying that their car is a piece of junk. So
Fair. Do you think that your take applies to everything made 30 plus years ago?
no, absolutely not.
It used to
I
be
would
different?
say- yeah, I don't know if it's nostalgia or if it's like really tangible, but like I don't know. I feel like the cutoff was like the '90s maybe, and everything just went like so plasticky and cheap, and they just they wanted you to buy a new car every 3 to 4 years, so they'd only make them last 3 years, and they got harder and harder to work on. And like the crazy backstory is that they make them hard to work on, but they make them easy to assemble at the plant, so that it's cheaper to produce. But they don't care about you fixing it because they just want you to junk it and buy a new one. Like, do
Right.
you
That
remember-
that also helps with not caring about the warranty. Like, yeah, come in. Sure, we'll replace your part in 5 minutes and charge you $1,000.
Yes. Do you remember Cash for Clunkers way back in the day?
Yeah, vaguely.
So Cash for Clunkers was like essentially the big three. So GM, Chrysler, and Ford all got together, went to the federal government and said, no one's buying new cars. How do we force people to buy new cars? And the government said, well, we can't bail you out again. We did that in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. Like, if we do that again, people are going to get mad. So why don't you do like a government rebate for like $5,000 if they'll take a car that doesn't get X amount of miles per gallon, and then we'll literally put a chemical down the engine to melt it so it can never be sold for parts, and then they have to buy a new car. Like, yeah.
Nice.
It's crazy.
That sounds great. I love that. I love that. Ooh. Oh my god. All right. How do you feel about Pintos?
The Pinto?
Yeah.
I've only seen one in person one time, so I don't know. It's like that person that likes odd things, and that's their personality. I feel like that's
Yeah,
what
I
the
feel
Pinto
like I
is.
would. I honestly feel like I would love to drive around in like a '78 Pinto.
Yeah, or the old AMC Gremlins. were
Oh
real
yeah,
popular.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, now if you see one around, you're just like, that's an interesting person. Like, what are you doing? So
And I know so far, and you're the second person I've baited into giving me your hot take, right? So far, I haven't disagreed with anybody. I feel the same way. What do you think? So I have to ask questions instead of grinding into your take because I don't think it's wrong. What do you think that the U.S. should do differently in this regard? Like, how do we make this better?
oh man, me as a person that doesn't know the big picture, I would say that part of it is we created this bubble for EVs. I'm not against EVs, but we had all of these rebates and all of these ways to make all the companies more money by making EVs, but they're not selling. So it's like they need to get back to their roots and just figure out inexpensive cars that last a decent amount of time, and that'll gain people's trust back, and then they'll be more loyal to that brand. Because if you want a car that lasts forever, you're going to buy a Honda or a Toyota.
Fair.
And-
Fair.
Yeah.
Do you think it would go a long way if they, assuming they want to keep on the EV trend, because who knows what's going to happen there? Do you think it'll go a long way if they figure out a way to make EVs just as long lasting as cars used to be, and also increase the cool factor instead of making them low poly?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say not to. I'm not trying to avoid your question, but I think the thing with EV is the cost and the range.
Okay.
If they can
yeah.
make them vastly cheaper, people wouldn't care that the range isn't super long if they could fast charge or whatever.
Fair.
But they're just so expensive because they cost so much to make that I know I kind of dabbled in it because I drive a lot for work, but then I was like, man, I have to spend 10 grand more to get an electric when I could just get a hybrid or get something that I really like.
Fair. Totally fair. Yeah. Yeah, I can't afford any of the EVs. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. I would probably have one if they were approachable. right? It's the price tag is off-putting for almost literally any model being produced at this time, but it would be nice to not have to pay for gas all the time. So, you know, there's a bit of give and take there even, and they're really not exploiting that. Yeah. Well, do you have any other takes?
Oh man, not related to that. Oh man. I don't know. I guess my other hobbies are like I like to do kind of self-sustaining, self-sufficient things like
Okay. Yeah.
you know, gardening and collecting rainwater. I know that sounds crazy, but you know, where I am, it's expensive. So food is expensive. So it's kind of a hobby I like to do on the side.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I feel that 100%. Do you know there are some states that have at least put legislation on the on the voting block to make collecting rainwater illegal?
Yeah, there was. I think the most recent one was West Virginia. A guy got federal time, big time prison. But when you look at the story, it's because he was hoarding like 500,000 gallons of water, and it said that's resource hoarding, and apparently that's a big no-no.
Yeah,
But,
that's crazy. Actually, can you imagine? Honestly, I would be proud of myself if I personally developed a system that was able to harness that much rainwater.
I'm sure on the TikTok shop we'll see a Stanley Cup one day that's 500,000 gallons of water. It's getting bigger and bigger.
And only 200 pounds of lead.
So what's your hot take that's non-political, since that's what we're doing?
You know what? I thought of this at the last second. I was trying to think of one, like literally just before you requested. It's hard. To be honest, most of my takes are pedestrian, which I should have thought about that before trying to do this. But hot takes, man. I don't know. Crypto is dumb. Crypto should go away.
Oh, agreed. It was like when it was a secret, I felt like before it hit the news channels, it was super cool. And then like it went on news and got so popular, and then like the IRS got involved and it got ruined. So
Same. Yeah, I feel the same way about it. I was pretty into it for a little while, but at this point it's too mainstream, and decentralized. Being decentralized only goes so far. You know, until if everybody's on it, then it's centralized. Somebody has gained the power at that point. Seabrand, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you today?
Pretty good. We're doing something different, and I'm having fun. What's your take?
So you said donate for dog chemo. That
Yeah.
means that the dogs have cancer, right?
Well, he had cancer. We amputated his hind leg. So the cancer is gone, but there is a 50-50 chance of metastasizing. So we're just heading that off and doing the chemo as a secondary sort of insurance policy, hoping that it doesn't come back.
So I have a Cane Corso, Italian Mastiff. Within less than a year, I had 3 surgeries to remove tumors. The last tumors, because we thought we couldn't afford it no more and we were just going to let it go, they removed 7 pounds. They were oozing and everything. And during this time, I was doing herbal remedies research. And so she had her last surgery in this last April, right? And she had already had 2 prior to that within less than a year. And I started giving her turkey tail mushroom supplements. Her cancer tumors have not grown back.
Hell yeah.
So, I mean, just do the research
Bone broth.
and look for yourself. So we give her turkey tail bone broth every day. And we put it in her food and mix it up. And we would have had 2 surgeries by now. if we did not, I mean, we didn't want to do that, but yeah, we thought we were going to lose her. We thought it was time to say goodbye, you know, because $1,300 a surgery is a lot.
Yeah, it's rough. It adds up.
So, but look into turkey tail mushroom.
Hell yeah, mushrooms. Let's be honest, mushrooms. Am I right? Just in general.
Yeah, it's great for us too. I mean, we can take it as well. It has so many benefits for us. It lowers cholesterol, blood pressure. It helps it helps with so many things. So like look at the herbal remedy part of it all. That's what I recommend.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Do you have any other do you have any actual like hot takes?
I don't know what that means.
do you have any anything you want to debate specifically?
Well, no, I couldn't afford chemo. I mean, we considered that, but it was way too expensive for us, and we would have had to drive
It was $10,000 a session.
It was $10,000 a session, and we would have had to
3
drive
hours
3 hours away. So we couldn't afford that. So that's what made us look into herbal remedies.
Oh yeah, 10K a session is like, ooh, man.
Yeah. So, but I have nothing to debate. I just wanted to put this out there.
No, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I feel that.
Thank you.
All right, Ryan, you're still up. You got anything else? You got anything else wild?
No, but you definitely made me shed a little bit of a tear. I got my chocolate lab next to me in front of my wood stove. So my heart goes out to you, buddy. I hope everything.
I do want to say our boy is doing fine. Like, I at least right at this moment, you don't need to cry about our boy. He's moving like he never lost a leg.
That's awesome. Do you mind if I ask, like, how you got your dog? Did you adopt or?
Oh yeah. We have 2 dogs, both rescues. I mean, technically, one was like, it's from a rescue, but he was a puppy, so they might have, there might have been some breeding involved somewhere, but they're a rescue. So we did, as far as we know, rescue both of them. One of them certainly, and one of them probably. But yeah. He was the little runt. They had about 20 dogs in the pen, and he was the little runt in the back of the little shelter they had, being roughed up by everybody else and totally smothered. So like we're taking that one. We're taking that one that can't get the air it needs. Bring that little guy out here.
Yeah.
Steve, welcome. How's it going?
Hey, Dan, weren't you the same guy crying about Trump about 2 weeks ago?
I've never cried about Trump. Do you want to try again?
No, are you sad that he won?
No, not at all.
No, you're not at all. You
No.
sure about that?
Yeah, not at all. I'm disappointed.
You're disappointed in what way? Why?
I'm disappointed in the American electorate.
Well, he won the majority vote, so what are you disappointed about?
Yeah, I'm disappointed in the American electorate. Do you know what the American electorate means?
I'm assuming the Electoral College?
No, honey.
I'm not a honey, dude. This is not trans channel here. I'm a dude.
No, this is you not knowing what words mean. Ryan, we have somebody that wants to talk politics. If you want to stay up, you totally can. But now I have to talk politics for a little bit.
Try some more for me, would you please? Because I'm loving this. Try some more.
Where's the tear, bud?
I'm sure you cried in your sleep the night that he won. I'm sure you did.
No. Again, not sad. Just disappointed in the American electorate. Do you know what that means yet?
I'm sure you're disappointed, but he's your daddy now.
Do you know what American electorate means yet, Steve?
You have to deal with the with the future.
Hey, Steve, can you tell me what American electorate means?
No, I can't. You tell me what American elective is.
Do you want to repeat that? Because you didn't even get the term right.
I said, you tell me what that is.
What is?
The American, what did you say? You tell me, what did you say?
I've said it like 10 times. Do you want to repeat the term?
Oh, you didn't say it 10 times.
I said like about 10 times. Close
No,
enough.
What is it?
At
You tell
least 7 times I've said it.
me. At least, I would say maybe 4 times.
No, more than 4, Steve. At least 7. I actually did count that well.
So you're disappointed with Trump winning. You know it, and I know it. I've seen you talk shit.
I'm disappointed in whom?
You talk shit about
Steve, I'm disappointed in whom?
Donald Trump. You
No,
talk shit about him.
I'm not disappointed in Trump. Trump did a great job. He got elected.
Yeah, he whipped Kamala's ass, whipped her ass.
Yeah, I'm not disappointed in him. I'm disappointed in
Disappointed in
the...
Electoral College.
No, you're making that up. The American electorate.
So close.
The American electorate.
So define that for me then. How does that differentiate itself from the Electoral College or the popular vote?
Because I'm talking about all of the American citizens that voted in this election.
So you're disappointed in those folks?
Yes,
Why?
because we voted the wrong way.
Why do we vote the wrong way?
Why do you believe we didn't?
Well, it's the American population. He won not only the Electoral College, he won the popular vote. So I mean, why are you disappointed?
Because we voted the wrong way. Why do you believe we didn't?
Well, why do you think the contrary?
Okay, why did we vote the wrong way? Because
Listen, I saw.
I'm going to answer your question.
No. Let me say this to you. You talked a lot of shit prior
Nope.
to the election.
Let me answer your question because you asked a question. Now I'm actually going to answer it. I tried to turn the question around, but you wanted to disregard the opportunity to speak instead. So therefore, now you will listen while I actually answer your question. What is wrong with these people? Just for a second, what is actually wrong with these people? Like, why can't we have an actual conversation with MAGA? Like, what is the blockage? What is the blockage there? But anyway.
You know what MAGA means, right? What is MAGA?
You're going to wait because I still haven't answered your goddamn question. Just take a second. Take a breather. Take a breather, Steve. Take it easy. All right. Why do... Steve, actually stop talking. It's not about you right now.
Don't get upset, dude.
I'm answering your question.
Okay.
Stop talking.
You have the floor. Go ahead.
I don't have the floor because you said I have the floor. I have the floor because you asked a question and I'm about to answer it. So stop saying things.
Don't get upset, man. Easy, brother. It's
You know I'm going to kick you in about 3 seconds if you say anything else.
Okay, you have the floor, I said.
Okay, you're kicked. I gave you one chance to realize that maybe you should actually stop talking. And you squandered it. You squandered it.
You really wanted to know about those American electricians, I think is what he said.
Right? Well, you don't know what the American electorate is. It's hard to talk about politics with somebody like that. I'm sorry. Eternal, how's it going? Good to see you.
It's going all right. See that, yeah, you're having trouble with the algorithms just like I am.
Yeah, well, I actually decided to shoot myself in the foot this time, and I'm not being openly political on purpose, right? If it happens, it happens. Totally fine to engage with it, but we can debate about anything.
Oh, okay.
okay, Mike Hunt. Mike Hunt wants to come up and talk about things. Mike Hunt is apparently friends with my wife's boyfriend. I invited you, Mike Hunt. No, you're not gonna accept the invite, Mike Hunt. No? Okay, all right. If you don't want to come up, it's fine. Anyway, how have your lives been?
Well, they've just been fucking cooked lately. Like, I'll get like probably like 400 or 500 viewers at the start, and then it'll just all decay down to like 30.
Yeah.
And then eventually, like, I mean, I remember I went talking to someone for a long time, and I left the live with like 15 viewers.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in the same boat on the last one. You saw that. Hey,
Yeah,
man,
just really,
it is
just
what
seems
it
like
is.
Talking to those people has just been more.
Yeah.
It just seems like talking to those people has just been more and more insufferable. Like, I just feel like I've just been losing brain cells lately just listening to these people.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Like, literally, it gets to the point where, good job, you won. Maybe at this point you want to actually look something up. Maybe at this point you want to learn something. No? All right. It's fine.
Yeah,
Like-
it sucks because like we gotta fucking pay the price for all this bullshit. Like everything's gonna cost more because we voted for a guy who wants mass deportations and tariffs.
Yeah, exactly. Mike Hunt is still saying things in the chat. It's Michael K. Hunt. You don't go by Mike? You don't go by Mike Hunt? Now say my name right and bring me on. I'm friends with your wife's boyfriend. I already invited you. You can just accept the invite that is somewhere around here on your screen and come up. It's already there. You're invited. So if you actually want to come up, it's open. Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, to be honest, at some point you either, like, Trump has appointed at least 2 people who had writing parts in Project 2025, and MAGA is still claiming that he has nothing to do with Project 2025. It's like, how,
Yeah, I know. It's like
how obvious does it have to get?
Yeah, it's like I even mentioned that in Project 2025 when someone brought up no tax on overtime, I addressed the point that overtime's not going to be a thing because Project 2025 says they want to get rid of 40-hour work weeks and make it 160-hour work month.
Yep.
So basically, you know, your boss can make you work 140 hours in 1 week and then make you work 5 hours or cut your hours down to 5 hours in the next 3 weeks of the month, and then you don't get paid overtime.
Yep. Sapper, do you want to come up and talk about it? I'll invite you to. I don't care. Jay Ranky, I see you in here all the time. I would talk to you for sure. You've been around a while. Ryan, I don't think that would ever pass, honestly. Ryan, I love you, but I don't know. What is passing? If you get to the point where, this person was connecting and they just dropped, so they're not really there. It is what it is. Sapper, no, I'm happy you're here laughing. Okay. All right. Oh, Connor, it's totally fine. For the record, we are not technically talking about politics. We will. But we're talking about literally anything anybody wants to talk about ever at all. Speaking of which, Eternal, do you have any weird takes?
Like on what?
Anything. Any hot takes at all?
Like an opinion?
Yeah.
I am pro death penalty.
You're pro death penalty. it costs more than the life sentence.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure on that. I've heard different things from like different people on that.
Yeah, I haven't looked into it too much myself. I've just heard that cited so many times that I just say it. Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, but I think that people who commit like crimes like rape or unaliving, I think that those people should be eliminated.
Do you think that there could be a more egregious form of a life sentence that would be worse than the death penalty? And do you think that would be worth exploring for those kind of egregious crimes?
I think that would also be something we should look into as well.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
Like, I also think that we should fix our criminal justice system, before we implement any of that, so that less innocent people are getting these harsh punishments.
Right. Ryan said, my other hot take, people who drive slow in the fast lane should be arrested. Yeah, I feel that. Totally felt. Connor, how are you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. How old are you?
I'm 21.
And what's your hot take?
Why is every commercial about pilots, they're always old?
Yeah, that's fair. To be fair, learning to fly takes a lot of money and also like a decent amount of time, even if you have all of the money you need. So like maybe it's trying to instill a sense of realism where like if you don't have a ton of money, it's gonna take a long time for you to get here.
See, that's my thing is, you can go get your bachelor's degree and it's a lot of money, but to go for recreational, it's like 15 grand. So it's a lot cheaper than a year at college.
Yeah. Fair.
Which is insane. I'm like, you put the math together. It's expensive to go hour by hour, but it's impressive how cheap it is in the end.
Right. That's totally fair, actually.
No, but I think they should show more young pilots. Maybe people would trust airlines more.
So, I take it you are then a licensed pilot.
Yes.
And what do you fly?
Piper Warriors, usually.
Hell yeah. I have no idea what different planes are. That's my secret that I'm going to share with you now.
I could break it down to 3 like single engine aircraft, like by brand. So you got Cirrus, which are for people who like recreational flying but also like the luxury of it. You got Cessnas, who are the ones who can basically afford like a $40,000 airplane that's like from the 1970s.
I've heard of Cessnas.
And then you got your Pipers, which are better than Cessnas, so they're like your middle class.
Okay.
So Cirrus are top level, middle class is Pipers, and then I would say Cessnas, especially for single prop aircraft, are like low.
All right. Yeah. And are you only based on what you said, I take it there is a recreational level of license and then there is a passenger level of license. Are you licensed for both or just recreational?
Just recreational, but I'm working on my CFI, so I'm working on getting certified for flight instruction.
Hell yeah. Nice. When's what's the ETA on that?
June or July, because it is expensive. It's like $300 for an hour.
Hell yeah. Well, you're right there. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thanks. This is also different from your normal content, which I absolutely love.
Well, thank you so much. I definitely do still want to do the political stuff. It's just really weird, really weird since the election. Like you can't get it's just normal conversations now are so rare that it's like actually exhausting, and it didn't used to be.
No,
Yeah,
before the election, you're able to talk about everything.
It's mostly people just saying, well, Trump is your daddy, Trump is your president. It's like, okay, we get that Trump won the election, but that doesn't mean we can't criticize him for what he plans on doing.
Right. It's like I made this one video, and it's by far my most viewed video now, and it's like, why are Republicans still acting so defensive? Your guy won. Like, chill out.
Yeah, I literally just had a comment saying how liberals are crying, literally whilst writing a comment in all fucking caps.
Why are you yelling, bro? But yeah, Connor, that's awesome. Honestly, like if there's like 5 things I would want in this world, like being able to fly whenever I wanted would be one of the 5 probably.
I think it's a really cool opportunity, and if you know anyone who's willing to just take you up for like an hour, you know, without even like paying,
Yeah.
take it. It's phenomenal.
Hell yeah.
I say, you know, I mean, you can travel on planes like near different destinations, but as soon as you get into a small single prop aircraft and you're cruising at like 3,000 to 4,000 feet, it's a whole different feeling, and you get so hyped about it.
Yeah, I bet. For sure, for sure. Have you ever done the like the skydiving thing?
Yes, I've gone twice.
Yeah. That's crazy. I don't know if I would ever do that. Like if 2 things go wrong, you're done. You're just done
Yeah,
forever.
no, it's definitely scary. But after the first time, you have no choice. You're already harnessed in. They're kind of just going to jump with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy.
I was just happy I had my brother as an instructor because he was in the Air Force. He just got out.
Oh, hell yeah. That's cool.
But I had him, so I trusted my life with him because if he's going down, I'm going down with him.
Right? Fair. Yeah, having a family member to do that with the first time would make it easier, for sure. I feel that.
I would think so, hopefully.
I at least trust this person. I don't know if I can guarantee that they're any better at this than anybody else, but I at least trust them. Like they're gonna try, and I know that they are.
I feel like skydivers who are instructors who just go out and have fun and do like flips in the air are crazy enough to do like Nitro Circus and every other thing in the world.
Right. Hey, so everybody knows, I know all 9 viewers, this is my best stream ever. It's the best, it's the biggest, it's huge. If any of my 9 viewers want to come up and talk about anything at all, literally anything, just get up here, get in the box. I'll invite you if you ask, for sure.
I have a big take.
Yeah?
Favorite soda brand and favorite flavor of that soda brand?
Baja Blast.
Ooh. Now you're making me
Mountain
want
Dew.
one. That's actually really good.
Yeah, there was this Mountain Dew that they came out with around the 4th of July called Star Spangled, or they had 3 different flavors. Like, the one that I like is Star Spangled Flash. The other 2, like Liberty, Brew maybe, or it might have not been Brew, it might have been something else. And then there was a different flavor, I can't remember, but the other 2 were dog shit. But the Star Spangled
I
Flash
personally
was
didn't
pretty
like that
good.
line. But have you tried the new citrus cherry and citrus berry?
I don't think I've tried that.
They just came out and they're really good.
That sounds good. I'll drink that.
The blackberry, not so much, but the citrus cherry is definitely a little bit addicting.
Ryan says old school Code Red was fire. Like, legitimately, I was into that for a long time, for sure. Agreed.
But they have a different Code Red than the one they sell now?
I don't know if the formula's the same, but, like, I think he's just saying, like, that, like, just that addition. Like, that's... It was a great thing to do, and it holds up. I also got into Livewire for a long time. The orange variant. I don't even know if they still do that.
Me neither. I haven't seen it. Worst brand of Dr. Pepper is the strawberry cream. absolutely hate it.
Oh, strawberry, like cream soda strawberry flavored?
Yeah, and it's made by Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, I like
So
I like
bad.
the Dr. Pepper cream soda, but I've never seen the strawberry version of that.
It was so bad.
That sounds like you're trying too hard.
I think they were going for a very exclusive demographic.
Right? Ooh. Yeah, just like is strawberry not already one of the 23 flavors in Dr. Pepper? I don't
have
know what
idea.
the 23 flavors are. I guess cherry is really the cherry's definitely one of them. I guess strawberry
Yeah,
probably
it's-
isn't.
Whoever made that drink needs to be fired. Personally.
I do like the cream soda one though, legitimately. I can drink that. Just the regular cream soda Dr. Pepper.
The only thing I hate is I don't know if it's Coke or Pepsi, but they made like a seasonal Coke or Pepsi and it was bad. It wasn't the vanilla one, it was something else.
I imagine them doing like a peppermint thing. Oh no, they did the Oreos.
I haven't tried that yet.
No?
No,
The-
it
the,
was something else. It was spiced. It
the
was spiced something.
Well, just for the record, the Oreo Coke is good, but the Coke Oreos, you can pass them up.
Okay. Noted.
They did both, and the Oreo flavored Coke, it's all right. The other way, no. They put like Pop Rocks in it, and it's just fucking weird.
What?
Yeah, it's really weird.
Oh, no. Oreo, rebrand your stuff right now. So, did you go to school? Just out of curiosity.
Did I go to any school?
Or college, sorry.
I did not attend college. I've gone to some college classes, but not many.
Fair.
I did not enroll in a college. I should say it that way, I guess.
That's fair.
Yeah, at that point, like, by the time I was ready, to be honest, I don't know how many colleges would have taken me, but I didn't apply to any. Because, I literally missed a third of my senior year. I was habitually truant. Like, I knew what I needed to pass, and I did exactly that.
You're a lot better than me. I played video games all 4 years in high school and
Nice.
somehow passed named
Nice.
Catholic private school.
So,
That's what made it better.
did you also not go to college then?
I did, though.
You
I
did?
went for 2 years to
Okay.
Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and I did online classes.
Oh, gotcha. That makes sense. That makes sense.
And then I left my bachelor's degree.
Hell yeah. Yeah,
So much money got poured into that school.
yeah, legitimately, I think growing up, I was one of those kids that was like, I'm too smart for my own good. Nobody can tell me any better than I already know myself. Like, I legitimately felt like I wasn't learning anything from the people around me, regardless of how old they were. So I figured out what I needed to do and did the baseline everywhere. And that's
Fair.
it. And I probably lost out on a shit ton of opportunities because of it, but nobody ever really explained to me that that was what was going to happen if I did that. So, hey, that's the thing that people should have been teaching me, is like, yeah, we get it. You're smart, but like, actually participate.
Lack of guidance counselors.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually participate, because you will get something out of it. You will get more. There is more
was
than
always
just
the dream
graduating.
Yeah, that was the dream until I realized I was like, I'm good.
Right? Yeah.
Because at that point, a senior year, halfway through in like January, there was rumors going around our school that it was closing and we would be the last graduating class. And then when they came out with it a day later, at like 6 o'clock at night, we were like, oh, we don't even care anymore.
Right. Diana, based as hell, congratulations. Diana said, same here, but I did go to college at age 52, got my master's at 58 in gerontology/HCM. I have no idea what HCM means in that context. I also am not going to lie, I don't know what gerontology means, but congratulations. And yeah,
That's impressive.
Ryan pointed out that is a great debate, the broken education system and how it just legitimately doesn't work in so many ways.
Especially in Florida, I feel so sorry for you guys. Or
Yeah,
do you have
man.
kids?
I do not have kids, and I plan on not having children.
There
Well,
you
that's good,
go.
especially in Florida, where DeSantis is now saying that schools need to teach that black people benefited from slavery.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they
Oh, that
legitimately
could be one.
tried to change the curriculum to, basically say that slavery helped them build the skills necessary for life, and so they should be grateful.
The only thing that taught them anything was how to work at a basic minimum wage job like McDonald's. That's probably the only correlation that would have. They wouldn't do anything else.
Right? Yeah, follow orders. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also Florida, dude. You got Florida man everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. So the thing about Florida Man is, and not everybody knows this, and if anybody knows this and just doesn't, if it's been drilled into you and you want me to shut up, just tell me. But the Florida public records law is so wide open that's why you get so many wild stories out of our state. It's not that we're any worse. It's just that we put everything out there. It's all public record. Other states kind of shut it down.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think it's Diana responded to you. It's a study of geriatrics and old people. Well, that's
Oh,
interesting.
that makes sense. Gerontology. That does make sense. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I guess that makes sense as being an entirely separate area of study too. It's like there's pediatrics as well. Is there a different word for that? So the study of excessively young people. So yeah, gerontology has to be a different thing. But yeah, and HCM is healthcare management. I see. Yeah, congratulations again. That's awesome. I can't. Maybe I'll imagine it differently by the time I'm 50. But going back to school at 52 sounds so daunting. Like I would be scared.
I think that's also the American dream, is that you can go back to school at any time and change your career, which is insane.
Right.
You don't hear it happen a lot, but it really does.
Yeah.
Just people don't talk about it.
For sure.
I mean, when I went to college for 1 year, I know that there were a lot of adults that attended and came back to school.
Yeah. So what do you guys got going on this weekend? Anything cool?
Realistically, I'm going to be trying to do a lot of this. I might get back into doing, based on the viewership of this one, I'll probably get back into doing just generalized political debates. But I will have to be on here a lot. I took a week off recently, a week plus, and I can't build viewers anymore. So I have to build everything back up from the bottom.
You took a week off.
Yeah, I know. It's like a
problem.
thing that people are dealing with at this point.
Like
but
everyone's
we'll
just
see.
getting fucking cooked right now. I don't know if it's just left-leaning content creators or right-leaning content creators are experiencing it too. I mean, I haven't really tuned into right-leaning content creators because I don't want to hear from them.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the thing is, you see less about, Trump versus Harris and more of, pro-life versus pro-choice and all that stuff now.
Yeah, more specific issue-based stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, like you said, Eternal, I don't really care to tune into right-wing content creators. I hear what right-wing content creators are saying from the people I get on my live. So it's like, I get that side of it. I understand what you're saying.
And with just how annoying just the comments on my own videos have been. It's like I don't need to go to the Elder Millennial or Victor's channel and just watch them brag about Donald Trump winning. I think I'm good.
Right.
I feel like they're paid by the Republican Party. Like deep down, I feel like some of these content creators are really paid by them.
I feel like I heard that like it was proved that at least a couple big ones were legitimately, and I don't think that proof has come out for anybody on the left side.
No. Who's that guy that always goes after Sisson?
Elder
I don't know.
Yeah, older
I think
older
so.
millennial.
I guarantee he's being paid.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy has 2
someone to come after
DUIs and said that he wanted to throw mentally handicapped people off of a mountain.
Yeah, I saw that. That's
wild.
Oh man. Oh, you wanna go back to being Sparta? Great. That sounds good.
This is Sparta. You're doing it is crazy.
Do you remember how that movie turned out?
No, I actually don't. I haven't seen it.
Sparta lost.
Yeah.
They put up a good fight, though. Hell of a good fight. I want to ask if there's. Let's start. I'm going to start with Eternal. What's your life goal at this moment?
Man, my life goal is to make decent money and travel a lot.
Hell yeah. How about you, Connor?
Well, I have 2 answers to this. There's a really stupid answer, and then there's the actual answer. Stupid answer is get rich and die young. So the answer is, build a family with my girlfriend.
Oh.
And then hopefully get rich in the process. But that's second to last.
First answer, get rich and die young. Second answer, get rich and die old.
Yep.
I feel like get rich is the common theme there.
But if I die young, I'm going down on a plane.
I decided very recently that my life goal is to become legitimate friends with Brennan Lee Mulligan. I don't know if either of you know who he is.
I've heard of the name.
He is he's involved with the Dropout cast. Phenomenal group of people, but he is a Dungeons and Dragons dungeon master. Just phenomenal. Always fighting on the side of union workers for strikes. Just really able to articulate any idea to an extent that you can't even imagine until he actually does it. Just a phenomenal human being. I want to be friends with that man, and that's it. Otherwise, I feel like I'm in a good place. Just if I get to that point, I feel like the money will already be coming in. I feel like I'll be fine.
I think if you continue on this path of doing live streams, I think a lot of money will come in.
Hope. Yeah,
Eventually.
We can only hope.
With the way things are going now, I just don't see it.
Different story.
I got a solid 9 viewers, and I love each and every one of you.
Sadly, that's more views than I get on my Twitch live streams.
Oh, yeah. I stream to
Twitch
Twitch
doesn't
at the
even
same
have it.
time doing this. And I never have more than one person in there. I did when I was doing gaming content. Twitch only really likes gaming content. Or hot women.
I do exclusively gaming content on Twitch. I'm lucky to get 1 or 2 viewers.
Yeah, I think I had like 10, the most I've ever had. So it's more. It's as much as I have right now doing this. So.
Is it bad that I kind of want to put your TikTok handle on the back of one of our jerseys and just put at?
I mean,
I'll do it.
I'm not against it. I'm not going to sue you or anything.
Cool. I might just do that. So we have an Ohana jersey that we could put you on, or we could put it on the Dynamos jersey, which I'm wearing in my photo.
Wait, what are these options? Hold on, let me look at this.
So I can message you privately with like the photos. And you
Yeah,
can
for
take your
sure,
options
for
on
sure.
what jersey you want to be on. So the Ohana one has a picture of Stitch on the front.
That feels pretty good.
Oh, dude, they came out really well. I'm actually a brand ambassador for the uniform maker that we have.
Yeah, that feels pretty good. I love that.
Nah, I just kind of like your TikTok name. It's actually pretty sick.
Hell yeah. I'm glad to hear it. Honestly, I had to think about it. I like that it took me a long time to settle on that. Like, I was just GOLDILOCKS, like the standard Goldilocks, but you can't get that in so many places. And when I fell on this, I'm like, 3 letters, 3 letters, 3 letters, very symmetrical, obviously still what it is, very nice, available literally everywhere.
I'm going to respond to Ryan. Ryan, start your own business, dude. Go ahead and try.
Yeah.
It's a risk, but do it. It might be totally worth it in the end.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I'm lucky my family has a 134-year-old company started in 1890. So, I mean, they took a risk and look at where it came out.
Hell yeah.
But you got to find something that's always going to be in demand. So, our family business is in plumbing. So, that's not going anywhere anytime soon.
I think Ryan wants to talk to you about this, actually.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
cool.
like I don't really have much of a clue. I guess I need to do more research, but if I wanted to start my own business, I guess it's kind of daunting because there's either advertisements for, hey, pay this company and they'll get you all filed, and then other people like just file yourself or get a lawyer involved. Like, what would your guys' advice be if you have experience with that?
So I've been working with my family company and inside the business for about 5-6 years, since I was 16. I would say getting a lawyer involved, because if you have someone set it up, you're going to be paying them off until God knows when. With a lawyer, you can actually take your money and, he'll get, copyright, trademarks, stuff like that done pretty easily. But you have to find something that you're interested in, and that's something in the market that's not going to die in like 5 years.
Yeah,
But you also got to be willing to put in a lot of time. Like, my father still works at 65, and he's doing about 70 hours a week.
Yeah, I think like I have a couple ideas of what I want to do, but I guess just taking that leap, that's kind of scary in a way. I'm making more money now than I ever have, so do I pull away from that and invest in myself? It's just like a back and forth.
That's a good question. I mean, if you're actually in a space where you're comfortably making money right now, and you're able to put some away, then on a personal level, as somebody who has not started a business, I would say it would probably be helpful to put a decent chunk of money away for that process. I mean, obviously you can get business loans to start a process, but loans, right? Nobody wants to have to pay off loans, so as much of that as you can avoid as possible would certainly help. But also, I don't want to ask you for any legitimate business ideas that you have, for obvious reasons, I think, although we only have 7 viewers, who's going to steal it? But also
Who's old enough to steal it?
yeah, I mean, yeah, what kind of thing are you thinking?
So there's kind of a vacuum in my area. I'm kind of a weirdo. I'm into gardening and I'm into all that kind of stuff. I really went down the rabbit hole of irrigation and sprinklers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought hey, if I get enough equipment together, I could do it myself, or maybe another person do sprinklers for people's lawns, or if they're a little bit more weird like me, for catching rainwater for gardening or whatever. There's really no one in my area doing that within 50 or so miles. So,
Nice.
And the product itself isn't super expensive. You can buy 500 foot of the piping for, $80, and then the sprinkler heads and stuff like that. And, so I was kind of pitching that idea around because I like my job a lot, but I just also I'm almost 40, and it's like, man, if I'm doing this for another 10 years, do I really want to be that person that's in a field where there's younger and younger people coming in, and it just feels like,
Or do I want to be hiring those people? Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
I feel
being
that.
on that team.
So this is a subject I can definitely touch on because our company does fire protection and we do a lot of sprinkler jobs too. So irrigation is so much in tune nowadays. So you have all these landscapers, putting seeds and stuff and not, getting a lot of irrigation to land or grass that's in that area. So, I mean, take that leap. I mean, print out flyers and business cards and see who's interested. That way you have a base of customers who would be interested and you can get quotes out. So start small, work your way big. So don't quit your job that you have right now, but definitely look into a client base that's around your area.
Start with qualified leads. Yeah, that makes
Yes.
sense.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because like what I do now is like, I don't want to say it. Like the job I have now is I work for a certain cellular company, and I do like business to business sales. So I'm used to working with businesses and understanding how they work. So, but at the same
Perfect. You
time,
have your foot in the door, dude.
yeah, I think I know that I need to say it out loud, and I just need to do it. It's just sometimes affirmations help you take that step.
Yeah, for sure.
course.
I like that. I like that actually was, a good portion of the conversation that we had. That shows you're actually thinking about it, right? It's not just a business idea. Like you actually have a passion for it.
So I'm gonna share my side. Is I'm not taking over my dad's business. I'm not taking over the family business. It's gonna end with him. Neither does my brother. He doesn't want to do it because he's working for Lockheed Martin. But that's another story. But what I'm running into right now is I'm running a slow pitch softball team out of Connecticut. I've been working my butt off to make sure these players are on time, to make sure they're getting the gear that they need, and also finding sponsorships. So I'm pushing out in several different groups around the nation to get sponsorships for this team. And it's very hard, but you have to hit the right client base. So that's what I'm looking into right now. Like the uniform I have on in my picture, if you see in the little corner, you see a blue mark, and it's the Capra logo. So they actually sponsored us because I reached out with a formal email. So it's all about how you present yourself to, your sponsor or your, I would say, financial personnel or people who are going to invest in you, as well as your client base. Because customer service is going to play a lot in a small business. And I've seen that firsthand because I've worked in the office of my family's business too.
Right. For
Okay,
sure.
yeah, very cool.
God, I should go into freaking business.
You should go. You should go into business.
I feel like I'd benefit from that. I've seen it for so long. It's so simple. People like classes are hard, but like it's so simple when you get in the real world.
What does your family's business do? Like, I'm not going to ask what company it is, but what do they
Oh,
do?
you can literally look it up by my last name, but
Oh, really?
yeah, I don't care.
All right, fair.
Yeah, you can literally look up Fahey, MJ Fahey and Son, and you'll see our company.
I will do that. MJ Fahey and
Go
Sons.
check it out, dude. We have a whole webpage and stuff. But we
Hell
do
yeah.
plumbing, HVAC, and fire protection.
Okay,
So,
yeah, I did that for a while. I worked with a moderate to large company doing the same thing in the Central Florida area. They were probably $100 million a year company. I don't know in the grand scheme of things how large that actually is for the industry, but
Pretty big.
oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
So
You got some big companies who make a crud ton of money, and then you got small businesses who make maybe close to upwards of 1 million to 5 million.
hell yeah. Yeah, so I've been involved in. I've done at least a little bit of work in every sector that your family's company does. Actually, that's fun.
Yeah, I remember it was like on one of your posts, I was in an argument in the comments, like someone saying that Oh, we've never done work like he's done. Even though it's like, I and Goldilocks both work blue collar jobs.
For a long time. I was over it, and somebody offered me a job in IT, and I'm like, hell yeah.
Go. Foot in the door.
I get to sit all day in air conditioning? Yes.
Hey, you can call us to get that air conditioning.
Right?
Oh, and then the other thing is, for Ryan, if you do want to start the irrigation business, look into companies that supply the piping. They usually tend to give you a discount, especially if you pay by a certain time with that money or after you get your business started. But those connections are important. So we actually have two companies that we do order from. And you guys can look this up because they're all over the nation and within the state of Connecticut from where I'm from. But Torrington Supply Company and FW Web. FW Web is bigger, but they source different parts and stuff. And within our company, they give us, a certain amount of discount if we pay by a certain date or if we keep using them. And we've been in partner with them for about 30 years or so with each side. So, I mean, those are also an option to look into. So if you do mark up your prices, you can get a discount and make more.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so like if you were to pay like on a net 90 versus a net 120, like they would give you a discount for paying up sooner and things like that. And
Yeah.
okay, so you look beyond just supply houses to try to get to the actual.
So no, go to supply houses. They usually offer deals.
Okay.
They usually offer a lot of deals. Like FW Web near us is a supply house, and so is Torrington Supply.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I'll have to take a look at that.
But I don't know where you're located, but FW Web is on a national level for the most part. I think they're mostly in the East Coast, but
Okay.
I could be wrong. But they're a really good place to look for, sprinkler supplies and stuff like that.
Yeah, generally speaking, I'm like 2.5 hours south of Chicago and about 3 hours away from St. Louis. So I'm not quite in that area, but I'll have to see what's kind of around my area and take a look.
Yeah, definitely
at
look into it.
Where do
Because
you,
another thing is you can mark up for product and mark up for services and parts.
True. Where do Ryan first? Another random question. Ryan, if you could vacation for a week anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Oh man, that's tough. I'm kind of a homebody, but I've always wanted to do a cruise to like Alaska. Like my wife and I
I've done that before.
leave
Done
the
that summer last year. It's pretty awesome.
Really? Okay, I'll have to check that out. I know when my wife and I went on our honeymoon, we went to Boston because that's originally kind of where I'm from, and that was cool. But like I don't know if it's this romantic idea, but I've always liked the idea of Alaska and doing that cruise up there and, leaving the kids with the grandparents. So
Yeah.
Free babysitters.
and again, not to go off on a wild tangent, but like that's a weird thing about America. So many other cultures, you all live in the same house and you support each other. There's multiple generations.
Yeah.
And I felt almost disowned for my parents when they moved a whole state over because they wanted to retire in a certain spot. If it wasn't for my in-laws being so close, I don't know how I would survive. So I think I put it in chat. Like that's my long-term goal is to own a bunch of property, maybe 40 acres, have a corner with different driveways for my kids, build them a house so they can start out successful and not have to, buy a $500,000 house that I would equivalent pay today for $100,000 and try to set them up for success. To me, that's my American dream.
Hell
And then
yeah.
we're close, but not too close.
The crazy thing is, if you do have kids, put them as a beneficiary so you don't hand it out when you move out. So they'll pay the bills and stuff, but if you add them as a beneficiary to the house that you own, they won't have to pay tax on it. So as soon as you die and they're the beneficiary, there's no tax for your kid.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll have to keep that in mind. There's a lot of really weird rules that the stigma is that only the rich people know them, but I just assumed that like a CPA would know them, and I'm just being ignorant. I need to figure that out when that time comes. But I appreciate that tip.
And to answer Diana, no idea. I can't wait to see if like the tariffs will affect, the product that we buy from our warehouses. But it ultimately depends on our warehouses. It really doesn't depend on our business. It depends on how the warehouse handles it and how those providers handle it, because then it would affect us. So we have no idea what the tariffs are going to be on and what they are for, because tariffs could be for specific material or specific companies. So what if there's going to be tariffs on steel or PVC pipe or plastic for that matter, it could affect us.
Yeah,
But
so
at
so
this point,
I think
we don't know.
I think the main question is Trump has said he's planning on 10 to 20% universal tariffs on all foreign goods. So it really has to do if your suppliers are buying from foreign countries.
Exactly. It really all depends, because they get a mix of stuff.
Yeah.
The real thing is when these companies do get them, there's going to be a markup, especially for like services, like trade services. There's going to be a good amount of markup from what there already is.
Eternal.
God, now I'm really considering going to college for business.
Eternal.
God, I hate
Where
these
would you
conversations.
vacation if you could go anywhere?
Me?
No, Eternal.
Okay.
That's a good question. I guess maybe for like a vacation, probably Hawaii. Yeah, I've been to Florida a couple times, so I've already kind of knocked that off my bucket list. But,
You like
Florida's
the
a
warmth.
nice place to vacation. I love the beach.
Yeah. Feel that.
Yeah, have you been to Daytona? I'm sure you've been there a few times since you lived down there.
Daytona?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to most of the big beaches on both coasts.
Yeah, I'd say Daytona's my favorite down there.
Hell yeah. Daytona's cool. It's a cool town. It's a good beach. The beach is weird in the sense that if anybody doesn't know this, the beach is weird in the sense that the sand is hard packed in Daytona. They actually that's where NASCAR started. They would race on the beach, which is weird to talk about. Like race cars would race on the sand because it's hard.
Yeah, it kind of does hurt your feet walking on the sand in Daytona now I think about it.
Yeah, it's unexpected. You get out there and you're like, this isn't sand. Get out of here. But yeah, it's weird. Connor, what about you?
Seattle, Washington, dude.
Seattle.
Love it. I've been there for like a day, but there's so much stuff to do between the Space Needle, Pike's Place, which is a huge seafood fish market, and
Yeah.
you can do tours there. Just a lot of interesting things to do around there.
Yeah, I've
yeah.
been to Pike's Place before.
The gum wall. Oh my god, they just cleaned it.
They clean
I'm
the
so
gum
sad.
wall?
Oh my god, go look it up. It's actually disgusting, but it's interesting on why people do it.
Cleaning the gum wall isn't illegal?
You would think for Seattle, dude. I'm surprised they don't fight for it harder.
That's wild.
Oh, and Diana's from Seattle. So my question to Diana is: do you know where Yakima is, Washington? Yeah, I'm gonna semi DOX myself.
A political dollhouse says
Once
they
in a while,
they
they
do
haven't cleaned
what?
it in like 3 years, dude.
Seattle has gotten so bad, says political dollhouse. Eh.
Seattle's interesting.
As I actually had a coworker. I had a coworker yesterday try to talk to me about California and how California is so bad, and I'm like, "Bud, I've been to California. Literally, the only people talking about how bad California is are people who don't live in California. So, I don't know what to say."
So,
And there are
Diana,
plenty of
you
people in California saying how bad it is, whilst they still live in California and still pay their tax dollars to Gavin Newsom.
oh
Hey,
God, no,
you know?
no.
Dollhouse,
Someone
how's it
bring up
going?
Diana.
What's up, man?
How old
Yeah,
are you?
I lived in Seattle for most of my life. I moved to Arizona in 2016, but
Oh.
yeah, Seattle's rough now, dude.
Oh yeah.
It used to be.
Oh my God.
I remember being a kid in the late 90s and I'd walk all over Seattle, and like as a teenager, right? And we didn't care. We'd walk all night long. It was like one of the safest towns I'd ever lived in. But now it's a little scary. But
You know what's scary? Auburn. Auburn's scary. Oh my God.
yeah,
I don't
I mean,
like
there's a lot of
Auburn.
bad places up there actually. No, I lived in
I feel
Everett.
like-
Everett was bad too.
Everett, I still hear bad things about it.
Yeah.
Yakima got worse. Oh my God, dude.
Way back
They
in the
call it-
day, I lived in Wenatchee, Washington, and that was
Yeah, I know where. That's where my family lives, is in Wenatchee.
Yeah, Wenatchee's beautiful. All of the orchards, and you go to Rocky Reach Dam as a kid, and like that stuff was pretty cool. But yeah, it felt like the 2000s. Seattle started to get a little sketchy.
It did.
I feel like half this panel, if we went back to Washington, we could all meet up in Seattle because we all
Wow.
been there eventually at one point in our lives.
Yeah.
One weird thing I found about Seattle is their liquor laws. Like they're so strict on they don't even let you in the building of a restaurant that has a bar unless you're 21.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was in the food business, so that's what I did. I sold seafood there
Oh yeah.
for 20 some years.
That's a good business to be in there. Oh my God.
I
Yeah,
mean,
you know,
yeah.
you know where it's not a good business to be in Arizona. It's not a good business.
Yeah, that's a wild move for the industry.
Yeah.
All right, well, I got to
Arizona?
drop down because I'm going to West Point tomorrow, but I'll talk to you later. I'll be in your lives.
Connor, take
See
it
ya.
easy. I'll be glad to have you back.
Of
So
course,
Goldie,
bye.
where you been, man? What's up? What's going on?
Not too much. I took about a week off. It just got really weird after the election. Like Republicans were being weird. Like y'all are defensive. I'm literally just trying to ask you how you think it's going to be, and you're being weird about it. It's okay.
I don't know.
But
I mean, I voted for Trump, but I don't know what I don't know what's going to happen. I'm a special use case, I think, but because I'm married to an immigrant, and so I talk to people on here all the time, and every
so
time
you're
I bring
married
that up,
to an
I always
immigrant,
hear
you voted
they're gonna deport your wife. They're gonna deport your wife. I'm like,
is
I
your
don't
wife
think
an
they're gonna deport my
undocumented
wife.
immigrant?
no, she's
Okay,
not.
well then, yeah, they're probably not going to deport your wife.
But like my answer to it is like I hope they do. Like I'm not even joking. You're gonna give you a reason to go back to because I gotta tell you, I'm
Oh,
gonna
you
end up
wanna
in
go
Mexico
with.
someday. Hell yeah,
Okay.
dude! Mexico is Mexico is one of the best countries I've ever been
That's-
to. I've
that's-
been all over this world. I'm
For-
serious. It's a
for-
great. It's
no,
a great
I
place.
know,
place.
but for just a second, our take on what you said was you want to get rid of your wife. What the fuck?
Oh no.
Yeah,
No,
we're
no.
about to start sending links to therapy, buddy. We're like, what? The
No.
What are you talking about?
I mean,
No,
and
yeah.
she's very conservative too. I mean, her whole family from a traditional conservative sense, not necessarily a Trump person, but
Fair.
but yeah, everything's gonna be fine, guys. Everything's gonna be good. At this point, what can we do anyways, right? There ain't nothing.
all
Nothing
we can do
change
is
it now.
see.
Hope
All we
Trump
can do is
doesn't
wait and
do
see.
what he said he was gonna do.
Yeah,
I mean, because I'll tell you what, tariffs are just gonna send us straight into a Great Depression.
yeah. I don't think so. I think it'll be okay.
I'm more worried about being who he labels as the enemy from within. So we'll see how that goes.
It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can take everything he says literally. And listen, Goldie, I've been watching you for a long time, and I watch guys like Tommy, and you guys are generally pretty fair, I think, but there's people on here that are not fair, right? Like you watch he said he was going to be a dictator on day one. Anybody with a just an ounce of common sense saw that interview and knew that he was being it was a facetious, he was joking for effectively, He was basically saying like, I'm going to get that. This is going to be my priority on
Trump
day
doesn't
one.
even have humor. He doesn't joke.
It's super dry, if anything, and I think people take his words literally. And maybe that's okay. Maybe
He's
that's
the guy
fair.
who fucking incited insurrection on the Capitol.
I guess.
Jesus
I guess
How are we
from.
supposed to believe that he's joking about that?
I guess just from my perspective, I would ask, what if he's not joking?
Well, I guess we don't know, right? We don't know what if he's not joking, but I think the danger or the fear is that before he entered office with this mindset of he has to get reelected, right? As all first-time presidents do. They're spending half their year balancing trying to get things done, but not trying to rock the boat too much because they know that they're going to try to get reelected. And in Trump's case, this is it, right? This is the last hurrah. So, in that sense, I'd be lying to you if I told you I hadn't thought of the idea of like he could do, he could go. This could be, he could do the things that he said he was going to do, even jokingly, right? But I just don't think that's. I don't think that's based on reality. I think that's a lot of fear mongering, and I just don't understand why people are fighting over it still.
So propagating the things that he said, even if you look at these things as jokes, right? Talking about the enemy from within, talking about using force to remove political dissidents, talking about, just like we know he's friends with actual dictators, like he has behaved friendly with actual dictators who command dictatorial regimes with an iron fist. And people say that's a good thing, that keeps tensions low, but it's not like they stopped doing the bad things. And it's because he's not telling them to stop doing the bad things. But
what do you think? Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, the main thing is we're not fear-mongering, we're afraid. We're actually scared. Like, I'm publicly a communist. I am actually a communist publicly on social media. I don't have my actual name up here on purpose, but it's not hard to find. Reverse Google image search my face. Like, you can probably pull it off pretty quick if you're clever. And the CIA is clever. So it's not like I can hide from the government. And if he's serious, I could literally be pulled from my home by the government.
But what's the likelihood of that?
The fact that there is any small chance is kind of ludicrous.
What if I said there is no? What would make you believe that that's even a chance? Like what besides words, besides what you could debate to be jokes, in your mind, has shown you that like he's going to actually do these things? Like he's going to pull me from my house because my belief system is different than his.
What would I have to go off of other than what he has said?
Well, I think you could flip that question on its head and say, well, what has he shown you that that's actually going to happen? Like that he didn't do that his first term.
Well,
right?
He did remove rights.
Which rights? What rights are you referring to?
He appointed Supreme Court justices who said they would not overturn Roe precedent, who then did overturn Roe precedent.
But you think he's telling them to do that?
I think he appointed them knowing that they would do that. So
Yeah, they're going to be more conservative.
No, knowing that they would do that specifically.
Yeah, maybe so, but the Supreme Court justices is a long chess game, right? When spots open up, they open up, and
the thing is,
they
shouldn't
could have
be a chess game.
But it is though.
What's up,
If
guys?
it opens up under your
Yeah, because the
term,
Republicans made it a chess game.
Wait,
Because they just-
real quick. So, do you know the role that Mitch McConnell played in at least one of the nominations?
I mean, nothing comes to mind. But
Yeah,
you could-
so
I mean, you're
Mitch
welcome to tell me.
McConnell as what was he, the speaker of, he was the lead of one of the branches of Congress.
Right.
Anyway, he said, we're too close to the end of the presidential term. It needs to wait a year, so we're going to wait a full year so that Trump can appoint this justice. And then Trump ended up being able to appoint 2 more justices. So for a total of 3, which is more than anybody's ever been able to appoint before.
And then when Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, then they jammed through it within like 2 weeks. So
What's
like
up,
a
yeah.
total reversal of views
Isn't
there.
Isn't that more of a reflection of the system being broken than an individual? Because
Totally.
Yeah, I think it is the
should have
system
been
being
put in
broken. That
place.
shouldn't have even been an option for Mitch McConnell to just refuse to even give the justice a hearing.
The system's been broken since it's been a system.
But Goldie,
And the
they went into
Constitution
recess is what
written
happened,
pretty
right?
badly for today's standards.
Sorry,
When
what?
that happened, if I remember right, they went into recess, right? They just quit working for whatever amount of time, right?
The
Until
government
after
shutdown?
January. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a shutdown. It was they went on a break because it was during the holidays, right? And he said he didn't think it was appropriate to jam it through basically at the last minute until the new Congress started and all the and the president was in the White House, right?
I believe the first one happened like literally a full year beforehand.
But like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you can't predict that. I mean, that
Yeah, I mean Ruth
The party
literally
should have been asking her to step
croaked
aside.
at the time. Yeah, like that was how it should have been. But delaying an appointment for the next president is not how it should be.
yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, if it was a year, that seems excessive for sure.
And
But-
on a personal level, I have nobody has provided me with an egregious act that the Democrats have committed, and I can provide egregious acts that the Republicans have committed.
I mean,
Are you referring to this as an egregious act?
This is one of the egregious acts. Yes.
So what's your guys' take on Biden allowing Ukraine to fire American pew-pews at Russia? And
I was going to ask you the same question.
Look, I'm fine with Ukraine doing whatever it has to do right now because Russia's the aggressor. If Russia
Even
wasn't
with-
invading
even
them,
with
they
Russia
wouldn't have done
threatening-
anything.
Even with Russia threatening World War III like that?
If Russia
They're not
wasn't
gonna start
invading
World War
them,
III.
they wouldn't have done anything.
If Russia escalates war, they're gonna get absolutely fucking slaughtered.
No, they are
They
not.
go to
dude.
war
They
with
got
NATO.
four-
They gotta battle the UK, France, and the US. They got
they
no
have
chance.
They have Japan, China, and Korea on their side right now.
Honestly,
Japan?
again, bottom line, if Russia hadn't invaded Ukraine, Ukraine wouldn't have to do anything.
but why did
Oh.
they? Why did they invade?
Oh,
Because
they were wanting their land back. That's what they were saying, at least.
It's a
Anyway.
USSR thing, right? Like,
No,
well,
Pre-
you can't.
USSR, I
You
mean.
can't claim that because Russia didn't own the USSR.
right?
wasn't-
But that's what he's talking about. They have rights to the land, right?
Yeah, but-
Basically is what he's
yeah,
saying.
but that's-
Supposedly had some
bullshit.
sort of rights
Let's
back
be
in the
honest.
day.
I
Isn't
understand
there-
what he's saying, but it's bullshit.
isn't there some?
Well,
I don't know the full history, but isn't there some nuance too about they were upset that the Polish border and the other borders around Ukraine were getting stacked with NATO forces, and it's supposed to be demilitarized zone.
Yeah, so that was legitimately the cause of the entire situation, but that isn't an excuse for invading Ukraine, right? Ukraine, one, literally didn't join NATO. They were trying to, but they hadn't. So if you're using that as an excuse to invade them, that's a non-issue. You can't invade them for something that could happen in the future.
Sure. It's just starting to feel like almost the Cuban Missile Crisis ish at this point, where it's like, you know, almost a role reversal. But there's a land that's really close to someone, and everyone's trying to figure out who can take control over it to have, you know, whatever position. And though, I mean, I originally have always been a Democrat, but I voted for Trump this time, and I know that blows a lot of people's minds. But the thing is, I have people that are very close to me that are in the military, and, you know, Bush being the exception, I feel like the core values of specifically war has begun to shift, where for some reason Republicans, at least on face value, are talking about not wanting to go to war, when there's select Democrats that are very pro-war. And that was very disorienting for me, because it didn't used to feel that way. It used to be like the Democrats were anti-war. And
it was the opposite.
And now
Do you think that if Kamala would have been elected president, do you think Biden would have okayed pew-pews to be launched at Russia?
No,
Yeah, I think he still would have done the same thing.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
He would have
I
waited.
think
He would have
just
waited.
to mess with Trump a little longer, you know?
No,
Well,
I honestly think he still would have done the same thing. I don't think the
I
outcome
really-
of the election would have affected that decision for him.
So in 2020, right? Like I ran a $2 billion company for 20 some years, and I don't anymore. But at the time, during his first term, I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, everything he said he was going to do, he's doing it, right? Like that's just my mindset. And I remember things being really good, which is a common thing that people say, right? Things were really good. I felt like the only thing that the biggest accomplishment that Trump had was the economy was doing good. And COVID took that away, right? Like COVID took that away. And I feel like, and I don't want to debate like why it happened, or, you know, obviously it was a worldwide pandemic. Nobody could control it. But now it feels like that we're antagonizing something that I believe that a lot of the reason Trump got voted in was because of the conflict in Ukraine and Russia. And I believe that people believe that he's going to step down, step away, hopefully, take it down a couple notches. And I felt like when we launched those rockets or approved those rockets, it's kind of like a way to start his presidency off on the wrong foot. Because if Russia fires back, all hell's going to break loose.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then we're going to have that on day one.
So
to deal with.
what you want to happen? What do you want to happen between Russia and Ukraine?
I mean, I can speak for me personally. It's none of it's good. It's either they take Kiev and they add to Russia, and then we all say, okay, you know, this isn't going to happen again.
They already annexed Kiev a long time ago.
Well, like they're going to take land from Ukraine, whatever it may be, and then we have peace. But then, will it really be peace? I don't know if there is an end game to it. But
did anybody happen to see?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Did anybody happen to see what they, the Korean soldiers that they sent to Russia? Did you happen to see the reason why those people were sent to Russia? Most of the Korean military people that they sent to Russia are prisoners. And they were told that they're going to Russia and they're going to fight for a year in Russia. And after that, they're going to be sent to the gulags. And if they don't go, they're pretty much unalived. That's how crazy that is. So that's nuts. I mean, these people are actually fighting for Russia now on Russia's side, and it's because they're being threatened to be unalived or go here and fight for a year, and then you're going to prison for the rest of your life. So I don't know what I would do in that situation. Especially in a Russian gulag. I don't think you'd want to be in a gulag like that. So
I don't think I've heard the validity of that. I'm not discounting, but I haven't necessarily seen a source for that. But I can't remember.
I can't remember exactly what source I was reading it on, but I can't remember exactly what source it was. But it was very, very detailed on everything that was being said.
I'm getting a do nothing about it vibe.
Pretty much. I mean,
you
honestly,
want us
there's
to
really-
do nothing about it.
The
Well,
vibe I would have would say demilitarize Ukraine and somehow push Russia back, but I just don't know if that's possible because the whole issue I thought, and correct me if I'm wrong, I have no problem being corrected, was that Ukraine was supposed to be the neutral ground. They weren't supposed to be NATO, they weren't supposed to be Russia. It was that buffer demilitarized.
What does that mean,
zone.
supposed to be? According to what?
Well, again, that's just my understanding because it was from.
That's what Putin wants.
But there was a reason they weren't in NATO to begin with, wasn't there? That wasn't just because they didn't want to be in NATO.
Was there? Was there any actual treaty written that said they would never join NATO?
And again, that's my ignorance of it, I suppose, is I don't really know. But if for some reason Ukraine was not in NATO and they were quote unquote neutral, then
Wasn't that part of the Budapest memorandum or something? They were to denuclearize, right? That was part of it.
Yeah, so the Budapest
And we were supposed to be
Memorandum
on their
says that Ukraine gets rid of its nukes. They did. And then all of Russia, the United States, Britain, and Northern Ireland vowed to protect them in the event of an invasion where nuclear armaments are a legitimate threat, which is obviously the Russian invasion. Russia vowed to protect them in the event of an invasion and then invaded them. And this is an agreement that we're involved in. How should we take that as a nation?
Well, I think my 2 cents is either at this point, just keeping shoveling money to them, that's everybody's problem, right? Is it feels like there's, and I know you're going to say like we're shipping weapons or whatever the equivalent is there's so many, no, everybody's tired of, I mean, we're struggling here. We have all of our problems and it looks like on paper we're shipping money over there. So I'd say we either put boots on the ground over there and finish it once and for all, or we stop spending money there. What other options do we have? We just keep funneling money to them. I mean, what's?
I don't.
That's
see
my biggest thing.
So you want us to join the war?
I don't. I mean, the latter would be better. But the reality of it is even if we put boots on the ground, do we really think we're gonna? I mean, I don't think that we could take Russia anymore, and I certainly don't think that Ukraine can at this point, and they're not going to stand down, right? They're not going to back off. That's just not in their nature. So what options do we have?
Well, the thing is, you just keep thinking we're just writing checks over to Zelensky, but that's not really the case. We're giving them military equipment that we're not using yet through money that's already been paid for through our defense budget, as well as the fact to replace that old military equipment for upgrading our military equipment with new military equipment, and we're creating jobs for the American people to create that new military equipment. So it's kind of like 4 birds in 1 stone, basically.
It is, but then also also on the other hand, right? Just because of my own personal stance that I don't want war, I'm kind of ethically against it. It seems like we're feeding the military-industrial complex, and then
the thing is, if you want less war, then you should support the funding for Ukraine, as well as many Republicans in Congress supported the funding for Ukraine. Because the thing is, if we allow Russia to sweep the floor in Ukraine, do you think he's just going to stop there? No, he's going to continue on and eventually invade into a NATO country and then drag us into World War III.
But the viewpoint from mine, again, is my personal view, is that I kind of agree with the fact that selfishly, right, we're struggling. Things are crazy. It's crazy for the whole world, but we only see the United States because that's where we live and we're single-minded.
We're struggling because of capitalism, not because of our government's bad spending.
Why are we a single-minded country? Why do you as a citizen feel that we should be a single-minded country?
I don't feel like we should be, but I think our culture is wrap ourselves in the American flag and we're the best country in the world. We don't always think in a worldwide view, and when people are more hurting now, at least it seems more hurting now, we have a tendency to want to pull in and protect ourselves without seeing the bigger picture. But I don't want to say it's a point, but going back to the idea that what bothers me the most about all of this in the Middle East and all the stuff that we've done is 2 things. We haven't really won a war since World War II. And the second is we're dumping billions into the military-industrial complex, and all of these politicians have stock. They have lobbyists that are telling them, you
They
know,
make money off of it.
we're going to give you billions of this and that and jobs and this and that. And I guess that's what bothers me, is that I know there's not going to be a time when we don't have war, but it just feels like between the media and between reality, we just keep pushing the bounds of everything that we're doing. And I don't think democracy comes with a 2-ton bomb being dropped on places. And I don't think that, you know, like the stuff we're doing with Iran and all these other, I don't want to babble on because other people need to talk too, but I guess that's what bothers me, is that we are like the biggest exporter of guns, bombs, and we wrap that in diplomacy and the American flag, and we're supposed to feel good about that, not just Ukraine, but in general, and that's what I don't like. I have buddies that are in the military that are places that I'm not allowed to say in Europe right now, waiting for someone that's never held a pew-pew in their whole life to say, this is what all of my friends are going to die for. And just, it's hard for me to comprehend.
I don't know. My hardest thing to like see, if for instance, I was in Pittsburgh, PA the other day, and I went to a little concert and stuff, and it was like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. You know, I was walking to the venue, and I went to go use a urinal, or not a urinal, but a porta potty, and walked in. And as I walked in, because I didn't like look right away, I walked in, and there was a homeless person just chilling there, trying to stay warm and stuff, eating a sandwich and a bag of chips. And then you walk all up and down the streets, and that's literally all you see everywhere. Like, I at least probably seen 20 homeless people on the sidewalk on my way to the venue. And you got people, it says like, I'm a veteran, I'm a retired vet, I need help, blah, 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 like, and that's all you're seeing everywhere. And it's not just in one city, it's in every city in America. Every city in America has got hundreds of homeless people. And I mean, yeah, like you guys were saying, yeah, we're dumping money by, you know, sending weapons and stuff over there and stuff like that. But we're not helping our own people.
All right, here's the irony in that statement. So, you know, you voted for the person who's not really going to do jack fucking shit to help our own people, whilst Kamala did have plans to help our own people, like the $25K in down payment assistance to first-time home buyers, as well as $50K in tax deductions for small business owners, small startup businesses. So yeah, Democrats have plans to help the American people. Just whatever they put those plans in place, Republicans always stop it. So
where does that money come from?
Things to help the American people, to stop voting for Republicans.
One second. The money for her entire tax. It's amazing that you would still have to ask that at this point. Money,
I don't know.
I know.
Where's the money come from?
I know, and I will answer you. I just wanted to say that it's amazing that you would have to ask that at this point, because Kamala actually had a written policy for the entirety of her campaign. A written, full policy that you could read for the entirety of her campaign. Like 80 pages worth of actual policy. Where Trump also had a full written policy that was 16 pages of like bullshit bullet points. So the money for her entire tax policy, all of the major tax cuts that she would give to the lower and middle classes, was coming from a corporate tax hike up to 28%. For a tax hike on corporations.
Oh, I didn't know that. I knew that. Yeah.
But how was she going to be better for the economy if she went negative billions of dollars?
We've been negative trillions of dollars for a long time.
No. I'm talking about her. Like, she what was it? How much money did she save for her campaign? And then she went completely in the negatives.
Yeah. I mean, that's
campaigns go into debt. I mean, that's nothing new with the Kamala campaign. Donald Trump still owes money from his 2016 campaign. Hell,
like
J.D. Vance
and now Kamala does too.
After his campaign for Senate seat in Ohio.
Like Kamala was paying like I just want to know, like, how much money she was paying Beyonce to fake a concert at her rally.
She's not the one that manages the money in her campaign.
But then
So she's not responsible?
So she should have picked a different campaign manager then, for sure, because that campaign
Well,
manager.
it's not, like I said, it's not uncommon for campaigns to go into debt. Like I said, Trump went into debt through his 2016 campaign.
I just.
How, just out of curiosity, can anybody tell me how far in debt Kamala is because of her campaign?
20 million, I heard.
I think that's an interesting point because there's no real transparency when it comes to a lot of that stuff. It's like
No, yeah, that was right, 20 million.
Okay.
I only know that because Trump made a tweet about maybe paying it off and balancing it to come together as a move towards unity. He said.
Yeah. So if you have a problem with Kamala going into debt with her campaigns, are you gonna apply the same logic?
I didn't bring it up. I don't have a problem with it. I just know that
when they've been in debt to their campaigns.
I don't have a problem with it. I'm just wondering is like, how is like something like that going to fix the economy? Like,
I'm literally telling you she had an actual fleshed out financial plan, whereas Trump on the other side literally did not.
And
he bankrupted 6 casinos as well.
I mean, I'm good with the plan that she had. The only thing that was really big sticky point for me, and again, I do B2B sales, so I talk to a lot of business owners. Politics come up. The unrealized gains tax, either it was that bad or it was publicized in a way where it was really bad or communicated wrong.
Do you know what the policy was?
Well, and again, the reality versus how it's perceived and how it's communicated.
Yeah, what do you think it was?
From what I'm understanding is that, I honestly, I'll be truthful with you. I don't know the full plan.
Unrealized capital gains I actually don't know the percentage, but the threshold is income on unrealized capital gains over $100 million. So you wouldn't be taxed on anything under $100 million worth of unrealized capital gains.
But it's the businesses that I had talked to that they were a little concerned. But again, I normally
Well, they're already doing well. Then they're not going to be affected all that much. They're just going to be paying a little more tax.
Yeah, and I think that was a tax on individuals. Actually, I think that was actually like it's designed to be a billionaire tax.
You just want these companies to just have that money so they could just throw it away on stupid shit.
Well, so like to get to the crux of it again, I normally vote blue, right? I didn't this year. The thing that stood out to me the most was that generally the people that I had talked to, again, Midwest, not the whole United States, was that they felt like the Democratic Party as a whole is having an identity crisis. Very extremist left are into their own movement, and that happens on the right too. But as a whole, people that I talked to, very limited people, and how I felt was that I don't see anything coming out of the Democratic Party that gave me confidence to feel like they actually know that I'm struggling, and to know that.
Do you think a billionaire is going to help you out? The billionaires that fucked you already, you think billionaires are going to fix all this?
I don't, but at the same time, when someone tells me that the economy's never been better, or they say that inflation is better, but the rate of inflation going up is lowering, but it's still really expensive. And
no. Wait, no. So the stock market is at all-time highs. That is a fact. Inflation has consistently been lowering for the entirety of this administration. That is a fact. It's not that the rate of inflation is decreasing. It's that inflation itself has been decreasing the entirety of the administration. And the stock market is at all-time highs, which is a good indicator that the economy is actually doing quite well.
But the inflation over the 4 years is high.
The inflation isn't high now. The inflation was high because of COVID and was reduced faster than any other G7 nation.
I understand, but you don't
If
look
you have
at
a problem
at inflation at a snapshot in time. It's cumulative over the term.
Right. So over the term, inflation has consistently lowered from the astronomical high that we reached because of the pandemic, partially because of the botched response to the pandemic.
I'm going to say one thing, guys. Goldilocks and Eternal, you guys have my most 100% respect, and it's because I've watched these guys. I've watched Goldilocks for a while now, and you're not on here like when you're talking about stuff. You do not bash the other people that are actually talking to you about their side. And that is one thing that I have 100% respect on you guys. Like, you're actually trying to give us more information about it instead of actually like just, calling us dumbasses or other shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
And that is amazing.
I have
And
done
I
the
give
other
you
thing too.
100%.
To be
Well,
fair.
I'm sure you have.
They'll
They'll come on debates, and like when they come on, they start acting stupid and ignorant to you, and that just amps you up. That's 100% understandable right there.
Awesome.
Let them have it. But like right now, we're having a decent conversation, and you're literally, you two are literally just sitting there just talking to us and giving us information like a normal human being. So.
Well, that has to do with how you guys have been discussing. You guys haven't been, crazy like the other people we've debated, so we haven't had the need to, do that other stuff.
Yeah. Like, I just like hearing people's, because that's the thing, that's the awesome thing about America is, like, everybody has, their own opinions about, their government and everything like that. And that's one thing that's awesome is, we're here talking about our differences one another has. And that's one thing I like, that you guys aren't putting us down and we're not putting you guys down. So I don't believe in that. Like, everybody has a different opinion and stuff, and that's okay. So
in any case, y'all, I probably should go to bed relatively soon, and I have an average viewer count of probably 9, so I don't think I'm missing out on too much right now. So I will be back at some point tomorrow, and hope to have some of you guys back.
I have a question for you, Goldilocks, before you go. Are you actually a communist?
I am actually a communist. I will clarify and say that, communism is a classless, stateless, and moneyless society. So that's not, I don't advocate for the government being communist because that's an open contradiction. Right? Governments cannot be communist by definition. But I myself am a communist. And I think that makes me think of my local community on a level where I'm always asking, what can I do to help the actual people around me?
Interesting. So I guess that person I was debating is actually partially true on that.
Yeah. 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 In American politics, to be honest, I would vote for whoever's the furthest left, but America doesn't really have leftist politicians. We have barely left of center politicians in the form of Bernie Sanders and maybe AOC, but she hasn't really been put into a position where she's needed to develop a fully fleshed out platform either. So I don't know yet. And maybe Ilhan Omar.
Yeah, I'm not really into like far left stuff. I consider myself center left. I think I'm happy with where Kamala stands on a lot of things. I think that she could be more progressive, like the down payment assistance. I'd rather see like 50 or 100K for down payment assistance, but I mean but getting it through this political climate probably would be difficult.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, that's the victory for Trump would have been worse.
I mean,
I'm not really a huge fan of Bernie Sanders. Really, at this point, I think he's old, and I think he should just go away.
Oh
and
yeah,
retire.
he's not in the game. He also
But
knows that he can't get back
before
in the
then,
game.
I was kind of skeptical of him.
Yeah.
I think it's funny too. The more that people talk, at least calmly, the more you start to find common ground, and that's where, like, you know, universal health care, even though it's considered a dirty word on the right, the concept of not getting gouged by hospitals and insurance companies and pharmaceuticals, and, you know, again, to put my little spiel in the military industrial complex, like all of these people that take advantage of everyday people, it's like we all kind of think along the same lines overall. It's just how we implement that. But the more we get divided and the more that we want to scream it at each other, the better it is for them, because there's just two parties, there's just two choices, and it's kind of crazy.
Yep. Yeah, so let's all push for ranked choice voting. Call your Congress people and ask for ranked choice voting today.
I mean, we gotta get rid of the Electoral College first.
Well,
Which
it's
that take the
honestly, the Electoral
constitutional
College
amendment.
won't be as much of a problem if we implement ranked choice voting. It will still, you know, it's still a thing, but it won't be as much of a big deal, right?
Yeah, what I'd
It's
like to
not
see-
often that we have actual faithless electors, so I'm all right with it.
It's funny because
I mean, I'm kind of hoping that there's enough faithless electors to turn the election over to Kamala. To like all these electors
Could
in
you
swing
imagine?
states say that, like, oh, well, I don't want this fascist in the White House. I'm just gonna cast my vote for Kamala.
Could you imagine the
Oh, man.
uproar?
The right would
Just-
fucking lose their shit.
Ryan, you
I
were
think
about to
probably
say something.
what we need to do is change the process of changing the Constitution. Like, instead of like it being like a 2/3 vote in the Congress and the 2/3 of the states or whatever ratify it, it should be a simple majority in Congress, and then after that it goes to a national referendum.
Ooh.
That sets a crazy precedence if the wrong person wins, though. It's always fun to think.
Well, it goes to a national referendum, so the people vote on it.
True. Well, and it's funny because, like, my 6-year-old, right, comes to me and he said, you know, did your person win? And I had explained that, you know, I don't put all my faith on one person. I put it on my local and my state, and hopefully there's checks and balances. But, you know, there's more of a movement of get rid of the electoral, because, you know, you can look at it two ways. There's a Democrat in Texas, there's a Republican in California. Their vote, quote, doesn't count because of electoral and this and that. But if we actually had a popular vote, then, you know, it could be a much more open discussion of maybe everybody would actually vote because it counts, but then, you know, you don't have to worry about your vote being, quote, offset, which was like a trending topic. Like, oh, if I don't vote, you don't vote, we knock each other out. Or why would I go? Like, I'm in Illinois and I know the way Illinois votes, and it's just like, but I still go because it's my right and I feel like it's something I should do. So if we went to popular, you know, then like that makes more sense because then everybody's vote counts.
Mhm.
And then maybe we could get past a lot of the garbage that we have to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, again, love you. I'm definitely hopping off. And until next time, which again should be tomorrow, stay golden, you know? Just do the usual thing and stay golden, okay?
Yeah. You have a good rest of your evening.
You too.